Do you ever get days when you, because I haven't seen it, and do you ever get days when you just fucked and can't be asked?
I don't get days where I can't be asked. I get a lot of days where I'm fucked.
Yeah. What do you do?
I'm literally can be like, I'm not trying to be offensive here. Like looks like someone's pushed Stephen Hawking out his chair, tired on the floor. Backstage, I'll sleep on a concrete floor.
I saw that the other day.
No pillow, no cover, and I'll go out. You know when you see like a cartoon dropped out of a building, splat? I'll sleep like that for 15 minutes and I'll come out of it like, let's fucking slay. So I no matter how bad I am, I had food poisoning the other week. Like at a fever, calling out to my that dad who wasn't there, temperature through the roof.
Really?
Do I need to go to hospital? Don't I? That was at 5 a.m. 8 a.m. I went and recorded an audio book and then I went and did a gig. It's just the work seems to pull me out of the well that I'm in. The genuine, the joy, it's like a calling. It's like it's closer to religion. I don't understand people that believe in God. You can't will faith, can you? I can't make myself believe in God. I wish I believed in God, but that you've got to look at it like that, like a calling, like something deeper that just draws me.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. It's what you're supposed to be doing.
It's like drawing air.
Yeah,
it's like, are you ever too fucked to brush your teeth? Never. And all the fucking states I've been in Ibiza, the dance floors I've crawled off, I always brush my teeth before I fall asleep. The idea of not doing it, it's like that.
That's mad.
I have to do it.
How was then, and I can't believe I'm talking about this, how was lockdown for you then? Because for somebody that's addicted to being on stage and making people laugh, that must have been challenging for you.
March the 26th, I think it was, 2020 lockdown. That was challenging. Challenging day. I sat to Lindsay, I was like, what are we going to do? You think about money as well, because at the time, it was like a talk of like it's a World War II event. It could last 5 years. No one from a working class background has 5 years savings. I'm like rich as a lord. Then I buy a watch. Then I go on holiday. Then I've got to do another tour. I'm just a fucking bellend like everyone else. The only thing I've done sensibly is my house. So I shat myself. March 27th, woke up, did my first free gig online. So it was about 14 hours of despair. The next day, I thought, Spotify model. Do your shit for free online and hope like an investor at a casino, like the guy who started WeWork, just kept getting more and more in debt. I thought if I push myself for free in cultural debt, hopefully when
your profile,
and also for the joy of doing it. I'm still addicted to the joy of doing it.
Yes.
So initially it started with lame like Facebook Lives, and then the Zoom technology came out, and then Zoom gigs, and eventually, as soon as summer 2020, I'm online doing corporate work. You know, there were workers from home. We've got a comedian to take the mick out of the boss today. Then I was doing online shows. Then the Steph thing started, which was in studio, Steph's Packed Lunch. And people forget, it was 2 years. No, by June 2020, outdoor distanced gigs had started. As long as you were sat 2 meters apart outdoor. I wasn't being
not
paid.
dancing.
I wasn't being paid.
Yeah.
Couldn't earn money. But it was a sense of doing something.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just continued. Basically.
Is that when you started caning it? In lockdown? Or did you start that before?
Pure luck that I started it before.
Was it?
Pure luck, yeah. Started 2017. This Spotify idea of stand-up, I call it, is what if you just did your stuff for free, dropped it online and see what happened. Yeah. Now, the reason no stand-ups did that before, and I mean, I can't think of many doing it now even, is you save your stuff up and sell it for a lot of money to Netflix or live at the Apollo.
Yes.
But if you are a type B comedian like me, someone who thinks funny, I don't write jokes down. I better write down a routine about Liz Truss.
I did notice that in Stockton where you just had a fucking post-it note on the floor.
And that was it. I'm off.
And slut dropped loads and then went off on one.
I just thought.
Said my name multiple times, by the way.
I know.
I told you about that, didn't I? That someone said to me after, were you at Russell Kane's gig and did he keep saying your name? There's one main part that I loved where you were talking about double penetration. Yeah. And then you said,
I don't remember that.
But it's not gay if your balls don't touch, is it, Paul Mode?
I don't remember that.
And then Leslie's like, have you had a threesome with Russell? I was like, no, I don't think I have. But yeah, so you're tell me about this type B comedian then.
So what I mean, the caning started, I did a series, which I love, look it up, called Stupid Man's Smartphone. Right. Where I got sent to 5 extreme places on the earth, the Arctic, the jungle, the desert, and had to survive using only my smartphone. Right, it's a really funny series. And I had a different person join me. One was a YouTuber that said, I don't understand why you sort of granddads and grandmas, analog comedians, don't do more stuff for free like us YouTubers. Oh, we would never do that because it would make you look desperate, like you can't get on TV, and also you wouldn't give me material away. And he said, no, I mean the the stuff you can improvise instantly, or the B grade stuff you didn't keep, or the stuff that's so topical.
Oh, so we would call that B-roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the stuff that's so topical it won't be funny tomorrow. So, for example, I've just dropped a semi-caning thing today about Liz Truss's radio interviews going wrong.
Yeah.
That won't be funny tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was just like a light bulb switched on.
Yeah.
So I've been practicing those. So when lockdown came, I knew how to time a video. So after an insight, you leave a gap for an imagined laugh. It's a sort of in-between timing that I practiced and learned for 3 years.
Yeah.
By type B comedian, I simply mean type A are the extremely successful comedians. The routines you quote, garlic bread, out. They write the
like
jokes.
Storytellers.
Or they just write really good material everyone wants to read. Have you heard that Frankie Boyle joke? Let me tell it to you. Whereas I'm just the funny mate who's got the balls to say my funny shit into a microphone. Very, very productive. I do come up with some killer routines, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's like if you're thinking of a fighter, right? If you're thinking like if in the world of fighting, you've got someone like Tyson Fury who's just born fighting.
Yes.
And you've got other people who've discovered fighting and become brilliant at it. Andy Joshua.
Yes.
So I'm born fighting, but just out of my gob.
I love it, mate. All right. So listen, mate, the reason we kind of met through your podcast, I don't even know how that happened yet. I think it was something to do with HarperCollins or an agent or maybe a PR. But then I had you come and speak at one of our events this year, it was actually. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I'd seen you live and I thought you were fucking great, mate, even though you said my name loads and people thought we'd had a threesome. But also I'd seen you on Stephen Bartlett's podcast.
Yeah.
And you were like a different guy.
Yeah.
What was it about that podcast that made you, because you didn't tell jokes on that thing. You weren't the funny guy. You were a little bit different. Was that planned? Did he ask you a certain question? Because you went in a different way. And I was like, I've got to have Russell come and speak at this event.
Well, I just respond to whatever questions are asked to me. I'm always looking for a little lift or lightness at the end. If you get me on one, it's the same person. That intense. 5 Heathrow runways, planes landing on them, and wanting and getting to the point. It's just I would always favour one with a laugh at the end. But if you ask me about cancer, bereavement, stillbirth, male fertility, male suicide, it'll be the same energy, the same Russell. But I'm obviously not going to go dun at the end.
Yes.
And so Stephen asked me some serious, heavy questions. So I gave him.
And was that? I'd never seen you talk about that before, and I don't know if many people had. Was that something that was new to you? Was it like
Well, which bit? I mean,
the bit about your dad. Oh no, because you've done a stand-up about your dad.
There's a shelf over there. Feel free to pick it up afterwards on the old
Son of a Silverback. Yeah.
That up there. That's all the award. They were all for the show about my dad. Son of a Silverback's the book about my old man.
Yeah.
And they're the.
But you weren't making jokes much in this one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, at the end of Smoke Screens and Castles, the show that bagged me, what for us is our biggest award, the Edinburgh Comedy Award, which I was lucky enough to hand out this year. What an honour to be asked back to hand it out.
Amazing.
To this year's winner, Sam Campbell. But at the end, there's no laughs at all at the end of that. The last 2 minutes, in fact, there's tears. It's the same at the current show. You've saw an early version of Essex Variant. I don't even know if it was being branded as that. I think the show might have been branded as Russell Kane rescheduled or something.
I think it was.
Now there's the last 2 minutes again, few tears at the end, things like that.
Yeah.
So I do have that. It's called bathos, where 1 minute you're saying ball bags and the next minute you're talking about art, or the 1 minute you're laughing and the next minute I'm telling you about a bereavement or a loss, and you're like, do I laugh or cry?
What's it called?
Bathos, where you go from the sublime to the everyday.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing an observational routine about that. My dad, Dave, and he's like, by the way, he's dead. He died depressed. And you're like, and that's bathos. Very powerful when it's used on stage. You can have it in music when 1 minute that like Bohemian Rhapsody, brilliant use of bathos. 1 minute you're rocking out, the next minute Freddie Mercury's doing a bit of opera.
It's really interesting that, because I've never heard of this before. But in my live show, I start with a story about suicide where I'm on the edge of it, because I come out, people cheer, and then I say, how have I ended up here? And everyone starts laughing.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm on the edge of the fucking cliff here.
One to the other.
And then they go dead, and then I tell a joke about taking a shit in public and getting sent to court for it. That's really interesting, though.
Yeah, like pathos, but with a buh. So yeah, I mean, I have no edit. If you ask me a question, I will answer it to the point where my most frequent thing I do is call someone afterwards. We probably shouldn't put that bit out. There's legal implications.
Yeah.
And so Stephen wanted to know. It's a bit slightly businessy podcast, so he wanted to know how I'd got to where I got to from zero several times over. So I just told him.
Yeah.
There's some people out there need to hear some hard truth.